All right, today we are diving into something huge, the ASEAN Taxonomy. Think of it as a brand new financial rulebook that's all about steering billions of dollars toward a greener future in one of the most dynamic parts of the world. So let's break down how it actually works.
So here's the big question, right? How on earth do you create a green investment plan for 10 incredibly different countries? We're talking about the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN. You've got everything from global powerhouses like Singapore to rapidly developing economies, all with their own unique cultures and challenges. So how do you make one set of rules that works for everybody?
You see, this whole taxonomy thing is designed to tackle a massive challenge for the region's future. Figuring out how to grow their economies without getting stuck in a huge environmental and, frankly, economic trap.
And that trap has a name: carbon lock-in. Just imagine this. Your entire country, your whole economy, is built on roads, factories, and power plants all designed for fossil fuels. You can't just flip a switch and go green. You're locked in. This taxonomy is basically the tool designed to help the region pick that lock. So how do you even start to do that? Well, you begin by making sure everyone's speaking the same language when you talk about what green finance actually is. And this is the perfect way to think about it. The taxonomy is essentially a common dictionary. It defines what really, truly counts as a sustainable investment. This is so important because it gets everyone, investors, companies, governments, on the same page. It also helps fight greenwashing. When a company claims to be eco-friendly but isn't really doing the work. To keep things clear, the taxonomy uses a really simple traffic light system. First up, you've got green. This is the gold standard. We're talking about an activity that's already making a huge positive difference, like a brand new solar farm or massive reforestation project. Next up is the amber category. Now, this one is really, really important, especially in a developing region. It's for activities that are on the right path. They're moving towards sustainability, but they're not quite at that perfect green standard yet. It's a super practical way to encourage progress, not just demand perfection from day one. And finally, you have red. This one's pretty straightforward. It's for activities that are just plain harmful to the environment or that don't meet even the most basic social and environmental standards. These are the investments that the taxonomy flags as a definite no-go. So green, amber, red. But what are all these things being measured against? Well, the whole system is built around 4 core environmental goals.
Every single investment, every project, is judged by how well it contributes to one of these 4 goals. First, you've got climate change mitigation. That's about actively cutting down emissions. Second is climate change adaptation, getting ready for the impacts that are already happening. Third, protecting our healthy ecosystems. And fourth, moving towards a circular economy, designing waste and pollution out of the system from the start.
Let's look a little closer at that second goal, climate change adaptation. It's so important because it's not just about trying to stop climate change. It's about preparing for the effects we already know are coming. This means we need projects like better flood defenses or developing crops that can survive a drought.
And goal 3 is all about nature itself. We're talking about protecting the amazing forests, oceans, and incredible biodiversity that the ASEAN region has. It's about making sure that economic growth doesn't come at the expense of the natural world.
Okay, so with those goals in mind, how does an actual project get assessed? How does it earn that green, amber, or red label? It's actually a pretty clear 4-step process. First, a company picks the main environmental goal its project helps with. Second, it has to prove it makes a real, substantial contribution to that goal. Third, and this is absolutely critical, it has to double-check that it's not causing any major harm to the other 3 goals. And finally, it has to meet some basic social standards. Now here's where it gets really smart. To work for such a diverse region, the taxonomy actually offers 2 different ways to get assessed. You've got the foundation framework, which is principles-based and accessible to everyone. Then you have the plus standard, which is way more technical and data-driven with much stricter targets. This 2-track system is brilliant because it offers both flexibility and real rigor. So that crucial point I mentioned, it's called the do no significant harm principle. It's basically the golden rule of the whole taxonomy. A new wind farm is fantastic for fighting climate change, right? But if building it destroys a vital natural ecosystem, it's not going to get a green light. It forces everyone to take a big picture view of sustainability. So what happens if a project does cause some harm? Well, if there's a solid plan to fix that damage within 5 years, the project can get a temporary amber rating. But if there's no plan at all, it goes straight to red. The system rewards you for having a real commitment to get better. And we have to remember, sustainability is not just about the planet. It's also about people. The taxonomy demands that all projects meet minimum safeguards to protect human rights and labor rights. A project just can't be green if it's built on the back of exploitation. Okay, let's zoom all the way out. What's the real-world impact of putting this whole framework into place? Why does it matter so much? The impact is actually huge. For investors, it's a trusted guide to find legitimate green projects and, just as importantly, to avoid being fooled by greenwashing. For businesses, it opens up a new pathway to get the money they need to innovate and go green. And for the ASEAN region as a whole, it's a powerful, unified strategy to build a truly sustainable economy for its nearly 700 million people. Look, the ASEAN taxonomy is ambitious, it's inclusive, and it's realistic. By creating a system that actually recognizes progress, not just perfection, it offers a practical way forward. And it really leaves us with a fascinating question. Could this flexible, multi-layered approach be the very blueprint that other diverse regions around the globe adopt for their own green transition?